Okay, for this lecture, we're going to pick up where the last one left off, and we're going to think about classical Greece. And when we talk about classical Greece, we're really talking about the 400s and 300s BC. So this is an era after the Greeks united have defeated the Persians, and we kind of want to flesh out two different things. What happens to them as a group of people, thinking about that larger question of Greek identity, what makes Greeks Greek, or maybe parts of smaller communities. And then we also want to think about what does the success that comes from the Persian Wars enable these folks to do. So a couple of questions we have for today. There are a few more than normal because, again, we're just doing 2 slides instead of 3. One, we want to think about, you've probably heard of Athens and Sparta, and you probably have some ideas of what they're like, but we want to consider how accurate maybe what we know going into this lecture is. We want to think about what major events like the Persian Wars shape what's going on now. And especially not just the Persian Wars, but also the Peloponnesian Wars, which is a series of wars between a bunch of different poleis, but especially between Athens and Sparta. We're going to look at some folks who write about these events. The first historians, we'll look at them both in this lecture and then in the primary sources. So who are Herodotus and Thucydides? Why are Granger and Wallace so annoying back there? What did they write about, and what arguments did they make about history? We'll also think a little bit about Greek philosophers. You might know the main ones. So we're talking about Socrates and Plato and Aristotle. What type of questions did they ask? What is philosophy? What responses did they develop? And then the last is kind of a counterfactual question, kind of a what-if question. But why did Greece last longer? Why did they get conquered by somebody named Philip and his son Alexander? And where do those folks who are Macedonians that are kind of Greek and kind of not pick up where the Greeks end?